Hi, I hear you ask, who is Novia Jerry Stewart? Novia is the fearless lady who quit her 9 to 5 and started her own business. Novia is the creative director at Big Shots Photo Booth, and she's a director at Tellus Entertainment Limited. Thank me later while I introduce Novia Jerry Stewart. Take care. Hi, this is Roger Smith of the True Blue Lounge, and today I have a 2004 graduate, Novia Jerry Stewart. Novia, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good, really, really good. I'm really glad that I'm getting a nice younger crowd because someone told me the other day that I've been interviewing a lot of fossils, so I thought it'd be
So
nice.
I've heard. So I've heard.
Okay, but I took it on the chin and I didn't take it personally, so the younger the better. No, but I'll talk to anybody that's got a story. So,
Yeah.
Novia, I'd like this to be a nice, relaxed conversation with us, in that I'd like you to feel as though we met at the airport and you said you went to Manning's and the sort of questions. So, humor me with my fool questions. To some, it's fool, but they don't realize that as Jamaicans, some of us aren't that giving with information. So, you have to
Mhm.
ask them these kind of questions, you know?
For sure. For sure.
So I need to know who I'm dealing with. So cognitively, I need to find out a little bit about you. So let's start from primary school. What's primary school did you go to?
I went to Cokes View Primary School, a little school in the bush. Nobody really knows about that school, but it was a good school, I think.
Where was it?
Yeah. It was in Dean's Valley. You know Dean's Valley?
I
All right. No,
think so.
Withorn,
Withon. Okay.
Petersfield,
Yes.
close to that area.
Okay. Do you know Galloway?
Yes, I used to live in Galloway,
Okay, so it's near Galloway. Okay. Is it near
near Galloway.
Waterworks? So is it going
Yes.
down towards Ferris or is it going up into the hills?
No, it's like coming from Withorn going towards Waterworks. It's
Okay,
in
okay.
between there.
Okay. But do you take the road like you're going to Petersfield or do you go down to
No,
what?
toward Ferris.
Like dump, okay. See, we know the little
Yes,
area.
right after you pass Dump. My school
Okay.
was right after you pass Dump.
See, hey, we're not gonna leave these little districts out. They're gonna be hammered and etched into
Yeah.
perpetuity.
'Cause
Yep.
you're from Piper's Corner, right?
Yes. A rockabessa, I
Okay.
used to call it. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
pure runway thief used to live down there. So no, I'm only joking.
Well, it was rumored, you
Ah,
know?
yes. So tell me about a childhood memory going to primary school at Cokesville that you remember. You remember eating lunch there and what it was like?
Um, I tell you, one of the memories that stood out food-wise. So where we lived, it was a sugarcane plantation. The whole area, Deans Valley, Galloway, all of that was sugarcane. And at certain times of the year, they would light the cane on fire, getting ready to harvest the crop. And I remember we used to go into the cane field and break off the burn cane, or we wait until the trucks are passing. The trucks would be stocked with the sugar cane and they drop off. Some of them drop off, and we just grab those cane that drop off and we just eat the cane. And they were so sweet. I don't know. I think the burning process kind of concentrate the sugar. It was just so nice. So that's one of my fondest memories growing up in the sugarcane belt.
Okay. So did you have to do common entrance?
So I did GSAT, but I did the common entrance paper the year before. My father was a teacher at the school, and so I was under pressure to perform well. And so he made me do the common entrance paper, even though I never formally sat the exam. But I
Okay.
did the paper.
Okay. Verbal reasoning and all them thing there. I remember.
Yes, mental ability.
Yeah, I remember it all so well. Okay. So how did you go from Deans Valley area. So you lived in Deans Valley?
Yeah,
Okay, so how did you get to school?
taxi. We had taxis.
Oh, not
There was
bus?
no, there was no bus system at that time, but we had taxis, and you had taxis that brought the school children in the morning. So we have a special taxi where we wait upon, and yeah, you go to school. It might be in the trunk, it might be not in the most comfortable position, but we got to school.
Well, I see you got some nice big yellow buses now, so
I
everyone should be
know
happy.
everybody should be happy. They
But
should have
they're
their own.
but they're still moaning about it, I notice.
Ah,
Can't
let's not
please
get into the
everybody.
politics.
Yeah, you can't please everybody. So
I
what's
tell
your
you.
favorite meal?
Um, that's a hard one. At home, my favorite meal is probably pressed green plantain. Some people call it tostones,
Ooh.
and maybe some rondong to go with it. Nice coconut milk rondong. Yeah,
And what about the meat kind?
the rondong with the saltfish in there, or the
Okay,
salt
okay.
mackerel.
Remember, I'm a Jamaican, I'm not a real Jamaican, I'm a Jamaican.
Okay, so the rondong is saltfish or salt mackerel cooked down in coconut custard with spices and seasonings.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
What about drinks?
So I don't drink alcohol. I don't like alcohol. So my favorite drink would probably be a glass of water with lemon and ginger in it.
So you go to a nice cocktail party and you're trying to impress. And they say, Mr. Stewart, drink. What do you say? Source of water?
Water with lemon.
Okay, nice.
Water with lemon. That's it.
Okay. Man in school, what was lunch like there? When money went around good.
I don't know if the money was running good. I used to get like $120 to go to school, and bus fare had to come out of that and break and lunch. So some days there was no lunch. Some days I shared with my friends, and some days it was like patty and box drink. Yeah, I very rarely went to the canteen because I couldn't afford box lunch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know, Novia, it's really shocking when I talk to Manning's people and find out how many people, where lunch was optional, meaning they didn't have lunch. It's
Well,
when you think about kids nowadays, especially a foreign, and the thought isn't even something you can process. How does that happen?
well, lunch was optional because my mother, she's a home economics teacher, and she believed in a healthy breakfast. So we always got a healthy breakfast to go to school, and we always had dinner when we came home. So lunch was optional, especially if I wanted to save to buy a jeans for jeans day. Lunch was totally optional then.
Wow. Wow, I'm hearing it more and more. So how do you manage, like 2, 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock in the days. Aren't you really hungry?
um, no, because I would always save back a little money for snacks after school. So there
Okay.
was this guy that sold donuts. He made donuts, fresh donuts every day, and came down and sold them at the school gate. And like, I always had to have his donuts. So it was either donuts in the evening or cheese tricks, bag draws, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first form?
I do. I do. I was in one white.
Okay. What
Teacher was Miss
name?
Miller.
Name me the boy in your class that gave the most trouble. There was always one.
Um, Reniel Clayton or Christopher Julius.
Okay. Real trouble.
Real
Okay.
trouble. Yeah.
And of your 1Y girlfriends, do you talk to any of them regularly today?
I do talk to them, some of them, not regularly, but Natoya Peart, she and I are still good friends. We were both pastors' daughters. We lived pretty much in the same vicinity. She lived in Withorn, which is just up the road from me. And we were dare I say, the two brightest ones in the class. We were always battling for first and second place. So we're
Okay.
still friends to this day.
Nice, nice. So from graduation from Mannings to where you are today, can you just walk us through your journey, please?
All right, so I graduated from fifth form in 2004, went on to sixth form. Um, I was actually the head girl in upper sixth. And before we left school, um, some people from UE and UTech came to the school, presenting their offerings. And my best friend at the time wanted to study pharmacy. And so, in true friendship style, I followed her and applied for pharmacy. So I went to pharmacy school at UTech, completed my studies, became a pharmacist, worked at the Savannah Lamar Public General Hospital for exactly 1 year and 8 months. And my eye doctor at the time offered me a job and told me he would pay me twice what I was making as a pharmacist. And I took that job. And I moved on to working in vision care and eye care, worked in that field for about 8 years and thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I met my husband, and he is a wedding DJ. He's into the entertainment industry. And so I started helping him, and he decided to buy a photo booth and told me I needed to run that side of the business because he didn't have any more bandwidth to do it. And the rest is history. Here I am today running an
Power,
entertainment business.
power couple. So, so I noticed while scouring your Facebook that you gave up a good job and went to become an entrepreneur. And I wanted to know what went on in your mind. What were the decisions that went on in your mind to bet on yourself, so to speak?
Well, at the time when I decided to become an entrepreneur, we were facing COVID-19. And there was a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace, in the job situation. I started getting my hours cut, my days cut. So it was already an uncertain time. And so I decided, I'm going to start freelancing as a pharmacist. And during that time, I was also teaching English to Spanish speaking students. I was teaching English as a second language. And I also started as an entrepreneur in the entertainment business. So um, there was just a lot of uncertainty, and I just figured out different ways to bet on myself. And this one, the entertainment business, that has been the one that stuck with me.
So, are you one of these people that are, heavily driven? You can drive yourself, or do you have a supportive spouse, siblings, or friends that allow you to soar? Where does it come from?
So it's both. I am self-driven. Um, so I work for myself. I'm my own boss, but every morning I put on my uniform and I go to work. um, it could even be around my dining table, but I put on my uniform and I go to work every morning. But my husband and my family, they are extremely supportive as well. My sister is my employee. She's one of my biggest supporters. She always comes out to help me if I need help on a job site. And my husband is always there, telling me that I can do it. He has immense confidence in me, so that really helps a lot.
You chose well. You see it when
I
when
believe so.
when people are walking up. Psst, psst, you looked around, eh? You you
May I
you,
tell you?
you could have held your head and gone about your business, but you turned around and gave a man a
I
chance. You see your life
I
stay.
tell you, yeah, man. I'm glad I gave him a chance.
Nice, nice. Do you have any hobbies?
Um, that's an interesting question. Growing up, my favorite hobby was reading. Like, I used to read a lot. But no, I don't particularly have a lot of time to engage in recreational reading. So I do educational reading, so reading around my industry or business, and I do a lot of podcasts. I don't know if you would call it a hobby at this point because it's just enriching me to make sure that I can perform my job better.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me pivot a little bit. So do you have any vices?
Um, so my husband would probably say um that would be my passive aggressive behavior because I am pretty averse to conflict. And so a lot of times that is exhibited as, some passive aggressive behavior.
Let me be the first to tell you that own it, and it's much bigger than you think it is. I actually think that most professional women exhibit that behavior because the the inverse of that is to galang bad and be out of who
Yeah,
you actually is. You are.
yeah.
So what you're doing is you're just internalizing it and just controlling the levers because you still want to be a lady at the end of the day.
I still do want to be a lady, but sometimes it's not healthy to internalize it, Sometimes you have to find ways to let it out. I
Yeah,
mean, not a galang bad kind of thing, but you have to find ways.
just get two pot cover, come out and bang them every now and again. He'll understand.
Yeah, and then people might think I'm losing my rockers.
Yeah. Oh boy. So tell me a job that you've done that you didn't like.
Retail pharmacy. I absolutely hated working in retail pharmacy. Um, in an oversimplification, I felt like Miss Chin. You come to me, you bring your list, which is your prescription. So you have your list of items that you need. And I give you what's on your list and collect the payment for it. And you're gone about your business. And that did not challenge me any at all. It did not fulfill me any at all. I absolutely hated retail pharmacy.
Wow. It's amazing when you think that you spend time studying to get this goal, only to get this job that makes you think, what was I thinking?
But I absolutely loved school. Like, school was very theoretic, knowledge based. The working world is not.
Yes.
The working world is about moving goods. The pharmacy needs to make money. Overheads need to be paid. Staff need to be paid. It's about selling goods.
Tell us about a time in your life that a really low time, and let me know what you used to climb out of whatever hole you were in, or how you were feeling.
All right. So I was working in vision care, eye care for about 8 years. And I was working as a refractionist, which is basically the optometrist's assistant, his right hand person. And I became interested in being an optometrist. And I researched everything. I spent about 4 years on this path trying to become an optometrist. I researched everything, every scholarship available to man, everything. I applied to programs and I actually got into a program in the UK at I believe it was called the Anglia Ruskin University in the UK. Got into the program but could not find a way to pay for the program. Jamaica would not give me a student loan to go to the UK. If I took a commercial loan from a bank, I would have to start repaying the loan the month after I got the loan. And I would have to give up my job to go to the UK to study. So I wouldn't have any income to pay the loan. The UK wouldn't give me a student loan because I wasn't a citizen. And I just couldn't find a way to finance my studies. I even applied to an alternate program in Canada. It was a subspecialty of ophthalmology, um, called orthoptics. Got into that program too, but couldn't afford to pay for it because it was on the heels of me completing my master's, and I had paid for my master's out of my pocket. And I could not fund any of these studies in optometry or orthoptics. And after about 4 years of trying everything, I just said, you know what? Maybe this is not the path for me. And this was also just around the time when I decided to um, quit my 9 to 5 and go into entrepreneurship too. So I decided to take a bet on myself as an entrepreneur, because I didn't think it was worth it to continue pursuing a dream that I didn't see how it was going to come to fruition at that point in time. So I just decided to take another route.
So at the time, who was your rock? Who were you depending on to guide you? Who were you asking questions of? Who was close to you?
Um, so my husband was always a rock in this time. He was there with me when I was exploring schools and stuff and trying to figure out how to make it work. But I mean, he would have probably taken a loan for me to go, but it just financially it just wasn't feasible. It was like £11,000 a year for tuition, and then that didn't include accommodations, and it would just be such a huge financial investment, and the return on investment, like we couldn't work out when or how we were going to get this return on investment, so I mean, he was there throughout the whole thing, and that made the transition into entrepreneurship easier.
That's nice.
And yeah,
That's nice. Do you like traveling?
I like getting to the destination, not so much the process of traveling. The
Okay.
airports really annoy me. I don't like the process of traveling, but getting to the destination, sure.
So where's your go-to destination if you could go anywhere?
If I could go anywhere, I would probably go to Vietnam or Thailand, because the culture is so rich there, the food is so diverse, and it's cheap. I've watched a lot of people on YouTube, the University of YouTube, and I've followed a lot of people who have traveled to those destinations, and it's like it's nice. I'd like to go there.
Okay, cool. Do you have a dream? Is there something that you'd like? Like, are you into cars or anything like that? Do you have a dream car or anything out there
No,
that you're still searching for?
no, I don't have a dream car. Right now, my vehicles are functional vehicles for work. We haul a lot of equipment for work, so we only have buses now. We don't have any cars. We just have work vehicles, and I'm fine with that. I'm not really a materialistic person. What I do like are experiences. So take me on a good experience, and I'm good.
That's
Yeah.
nice. You could be a cheap date if you like camping and stuff like that.
Um, I don't like camping. I'm afraid of farty leg. But I'm not a cheap date. Don't get it wrong.
Okay,
So,
okay.
like for Father's Day, I took my husband on an experience to a pottery studio. And it was not a cheap experience, but it was a meaningful experience. And so I like meaningful experiences, but I'm not a cheap girl. I don't want cheap experiences. It has to make sense.
Okay, okay. It's nice because now I'm thinking these experiences, depending on what they are, can be very very expensive because
They can.
someone's it's all relative. I may want to go to have a picnic in the park, and you want to be on a beach in Vietnam.
Yeah,
You know,
so we have to
eating.
take a couple of planes to get there.
What about the types of eating crickets and rats and stuff like that? That
Um,
would you try?
I I would be very selective about what I try. I am open to trying some things, but that cockroach, that's a no-no. I do not like those critters, and I am not going to try eating them. So I'd be quite selective about what I eat.
Okay. When we die, Novia, what do you think happens to us?
Nothing. You just die and you don't exist anymore. Your body is going to decompose and you just don't exist anymore. That's it.
So we better live a good life right here and now.
I do believe so. I do believe so. Yep.
Okay. When
And
you
and I mean, if there is an afterlife, I want to make sure I live the best in this life and also in the afterlife. 'Cause I don't know if it is there, so I'm not going to give up sure for unsure.
understood. When you think of the future, you hopeful?
I am hopeful. Um, I'm hopeful and I'm a bit scared because, like, what will happen in the next 10 years? We have AI now that's doing a bag of things. Like, what will really happen in the next 10 years? When my kids are grown, will I even be able to relate to them? Based on what's happening? I am so hopeful. I am excited to see what humans will come up with next, but I'm also scared that the world is changing so fast. Will we be able to keep up?
It's intriguing. I wonder to myself if our parents had the sort of breakthroughs technologically in their minds etched the way we have, because so much has happened in the last 30 years. We're thinking, wow,
Yep.
so amazing. Yeah. Tell me about a high point in your life and how did you handle it and who was around you?
Well, the high point was definitely completing my master's degree with $0 in debt. Like, that was truly an achievement. Um, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of late nights, a lot of hard work. I was working full time while studying for my master's. It was an online program though, so I didn't have to physically go anywhere to do it. But I mean, completing my master's with $0 in debt, truly a high point. And then there was a low point after that because my boss never tell me say him did want to pay me more money. So I mean, the masters didn't translate to more money.
Right. I think a lot of people realize that with education, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of people realize that. Boy. So, as far as I'm concerned, Novia, I think you're a pretty driven, organized type of person. What would you tell a 16-year-old Novia if you could go back and whisper to her?
Um, I would say life is not linear. Life is a culmination of experiences. So grab all your experiences, it will all come together. Don't take any win or loss too seriously because it will all come together.
Cool.
Yep.
As a 2004 alumni, um, are you involved in that class? What do you guys do? What do you enjoy doing? Do you do anything?
So we had our 20th reunion last year, and I was a part of the planning committee for that. And that was fantastic. And that has really sparked the genesis of a whole new era for us. I mean, I hadn't spoken to or communicated with a lot of my batchmates in forever, in 20 years. And last year was just so refreshing. it was just like we all came together, and it was just us again, just like we were in high school. We were enjoying ourselves, enjoying each other's company, and we have dedicated ourselves to providing ongoing support for the school in the form of scholarships for students at the school. And that goal, that common goal, that shared goal is so powerful. And so I'm happy to be a part of this group, of the class of 2004. And I mean, I'm excited to see what happens as we pool our resources together as we move forward.
That's beautiful. I always wonder. There's so many segments. I wondered if we all started pulling the rope in one direction, the efficiencies would be so good, for the students.
Yeah, yeah. But that would have to be directed by the school itself,
Hmm.
because we, us as a cohort, we have access to us, to our cohort, and we might know people who were at Manning's at the time that we were at Manning's, but we know nobody else. We don't know the older people, we don't know the younger people. So pooling our resources together is kind of, it's not possible if it's not coordinated by the school, who has a directory of everybody who has been through those doors. So the school would have to have an alumni office or something that could do that kind of coordinated effort.
Wow. Some could argue that there is something set up already, but I hope they type in the comments how it's set up and how do you get to join the Black Star Liner, so to speak.
Yeah, well, it would be interesting to know.
Do you think Manning School has anything to do with how great you have become?
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. um I think one of the highlights at Manning's for me was the extracurricular activities. Like, I was involved in so many extracurricular activities, and that helped me with time management. It helped me with creativity, and it also helped me with leadership. And I mean, like, I don't know, kids nowadays. Like, I have a stepdaughter who is going to high school now, and she is not very involved in extracurriculars, um, claiming that she's focusing on academics. But I don't see where, like, I think she would excel more if she were involved in more extracurriculars and had to balance her time and had to, think outside of the box and be creative and stuff. I think that definitely would really help. And I see it in a lot of the kids today. They are not very involved, maybe because we're so dependent on devices. So they are heavily on their devices. And I mean, I think that has impacted them poorly in terms of time management and all the other skills, the social skills.
I agree with you totally. I just think it's an evolution. When we didn't have phones, we knew when to get home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You knew when one of you was missing.
Hmm.
And now everyone's on their device. You don't even ask to ask where they are. You can see them on the sofa. They're all on their
Yeah.
device. You go to
Yeah.
dinner, four people, everybody on their phones. You know.
I know. It's sad.
So Novia, my last question for you is: when Novia is having a hard day, what does Novia do to cheer herself up and reward her that makes her feel good and battle the day on whatever demons that are going on?
Um, so I have a few friends that I will call and just talk. And even if, I mean, they can't say anything to make the situation better, just talking about it generally makes me feel better. And then I also turn to some podcasts and just just to take my mind off the situation and just to feed my soul, feed my mind with something else. So I do podcasts and I find that that helps.
You should try
Yep.
ice cream. Ice cream helps me.
Well, I don't have so much of a sweet tooth. So I don't know if that would help. I don't like chocolate. I mean,
Well, you
ice cream
might have
on
to
a
go
cup
and
of
get some
milk.
green planting then. Get some green.
Yes, 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 for real.
Make a snack out of it, you know?
Yep.
Okay. So, if you could tell any manning student that doesn't contribute or doesn't see the need to contribute and you were to turn them around, how would you say, hey, that that institution was everything to us. How dare you turn your back?
Well, that's kind of coming on strong. But I mean, I think one of the things that we need to do more is mentorship, underground face-to-face mentorship, so people can, so the students there can see us. I think that would make an impact in terms of showing them that we need to still remain connected and we need to give back. Because I mean, if they don't see anybody, then it, there's kind of this disassociation. But if we turn up to the school and we show interest and we talk to them and we mentor them, and sure, we're going to give financial support too, but also they just being there, I think that would really play a huge role in helping them to see the importance of giving back. And I know there are a few groups like the Past Student Association Kingston chapter. They have quarterly mentorship visits, but sad to say, is mostly older folk who cannot relate to the kids there now. So if some of the younger cohort could go there and, just speak to the kids, just be there, then I think that would go a far way.
That's nice. You know, the troublemaking Roger would say, it's time some of these older cohorts pass the baton on, and allow
Well,
youth.
there is still a place for them, because they have gone through their careers. A lot of them are retired. They have more time on their hands for philanthropic efforts and stuff. So there is a place for them. However, they cannot relate to these kids nowadays. So there is also a place for the younger cohorts, but I understand the challenges for the younger ones because they're just trying to build a career, build a family, and so they might not have as much time to dedicate to these efforts.
Yep, I hear you. I hear you. Is there anything else I've missed? Anything you want to say to your group?
Well, I just want to say I am proud of all the cohorts that are now planning their reunions. So 2004 did theirs last year, 2005 did theirs this July, 2006 is planning theirs for next year. And I'm just so excited that, these younger cohorts are taking the leap and really organizing their reunions, not just to get back together, but also to give back to the school. So I'm really proud of that.
That's good. That's good. Hey Novia, I really enjoyed meeting with you today.
I did too.
It's been real fun. Um, I think you're the sort of girl that if you allowed yourself to have a couple of glasses of wine, you'd be really cool to be around. If you just let
I'm
go just
already
a little
cool.
bit, you
I'm already cool to be around.
know. But you need to be a little bit, just couple of glasses of rosé, and you'll be good to go.
No, you see, alcohol makes me really sleepy. So I would not be fun to be around if I drank alcohol. I would be knocked out. I'd be asleep.
Practice make perfect.
Ah, well, if you say so.
Yeah, man. Hey, thank you for blessing my little forum, okay?
You are so
And
welcome. Thank you for having me.
if you ever need to say anything loud, give me a shout and we could say it together. All right?
All right, sounds good.